Hello, good afternoon, good morning, and wherever you may be, welcome to the Watson Campaign Automation 17.2 release preview. We're very excited to share some really exciting capabilities with you today, and we're looking forward to sharing those. And a couple of housekeeping items that we want to let you know before we get started. Feel free to send us questions in the Q&A section. Another thing I do want to point out is that we will have this webinar available as a recording. We are recording this webinar, so we're going to be making sure to send that out to everyone who attended so that you can see that or share it or make it available to your team. So thank you so much for joining once again, and if it's okay with you, I'd like to introduce the folks who are going to be presenting to you today. And we're going to start with me. My name is Michael Trapani. I'm the Product Marketing Leader for Watson Marketing. I'm joined today by Aaron Mejia, who is an Offering Manager for Campaign Automation. Ravi Shah, who is another Offering Management Leader around the Watson Marketing capabilities, specializing around mobile and our social capabilities. So we have some really exciting capabilities around that as well. And then Vivian Braun, and that's a little cut off in the view here, but you can see Vivian Braun, who is our Solutions Marketing Manager around Watson Marketing's capabilities for marketing insights. So we're going to talk about what that is a little bit later in the presentation, but just want to share who we're going to be sharing some of the content with you today. So those are going to be the speakers as you hear them. Another piece of housekeeping that I am going to share is that, of course, we are a SaaS-based solution with a lot of pods and a lot of capabilities and a lot of things that are available around the world. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you is the schedule of the release. So everything we're going to talk about is going to be released in a particular schedule. So one of the things that you should keep in mind is that for your pod number, we're showing right here the scheduled release date so that when you'll start to see some of the capabilities that we talk about today. And the way you can tell if which pod you're located on is if you go up to your URL as you log in to Watson Marketing Campaign Automation, and you look at the top of that URL and you'll see login 5, login 2, login 3. You'll see that number up there, and that will tell you what pod you're on so that you can expect when to see those capabilities appear within your deployment. And so you see some times there, so I'm going to leave that up for just another minute, just another second actually. And so we'll get right into the agenda for what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to start off with the core capabilities of campaign automation, and you'll see what some of those are as we dive in. Aaron is going to take us through those. Then we're going to go into some of our mobile capabilities within campaign automation specifically. So there's some really exciting news we're going to share around mobile, and so you'll see some really interesting things there. Then we're going to dive into performance insights within campaign automation. And for those of you that are not aware, performance insights is our new advanced analytics capabilities within campaign automation. So there's going to be some really interesting things that we're going to talk about there, so excited to share. And then we're going to show you a preview of an announcement that we made back at Amplify this year. A new offering within Watson Marketing called Watson Marketing Insights. And we're going to share all the information that's relevant to our campaign automation customers because there are some really interesting opportunities specifically for you because you are already a campaign automation customer. So we're going to let you know what's available to you and things that you can try out and get some really powerful capabilities around audience building. So we're going to share that in a little bit towards the end. And then we're going to close out with a Q&A session. Once again, feel free to send your questions in through the Q&A tool towards the bottom of your display during the presentation itself, and we'll be sure to answer those as we can. But there will most likely be a few questions that we will leave to the end so that we can answer those for the benefit of the larger attendees. All right, and with that, I'm going to pass it off to Aaron Mejia, who is going to start us on the Watson Campaign Automation capabilities that we're announcing in this new 17.2 release. Aaron?
Great. Great, thank you. So a couple of things that we have released within our Transact product. One is that within Transact in a transactional message, you are able to attach a file now. How that happens is you encode the file, include that in the XML payload, and then it then renders as an attachment for the customers. Couple of limitations there is that we want to make sure for deliverability purposes that your recipients have the best experience. So it can be up to a half a megabyte file, and all of the attachments can add up to 1 megabyte in size. Another transactional update that we have enhanced is a true BCC. Today there is a copy me function of which you have been asking for some enhancements to, where now within the actual XML it is a true BCC capability, and that's mainly for our financial and regulatory clients that need this functionality to be able to satisfy those regulatory requirements. Another enhancement in 17.2 with programs is our new programs experience. We've been iterating on our new programs experience for several releases now, but just a reminder that you can always turn this on or off at any time. Within the org admin settings, there is within general settings an emerging feature toggle of which you can edit to turn off and on. So if you would like to see and experience this new programs experience, you can surely do that. And the way that you get to those is within each one of the blueprint cards within programs. You can preview what interface that you would be working in. The top few are the new experience, and the bottom few are in the old experience. So that leads the question of, can you work in both canvases at the same time? Yes, you can. Because of the functionality and how different that they are, your old programs will continue to live in the current experience, and your new ones will be in the new experience. Nothing happens to them, so you can work in both at any given time. So if you'd like to give that a try, I think that where we've brought it over the last few releases, that we can accomplish most of your use cases. So a couple of really exciting things that happened within 17.2 are multi-path decisions. Currently today, you have the notion of a decision diamond of yes and no. However, we know that that's a limitation for our customers, so we've added the ability to create multi-path decisions where it is no longer a yes-no. It's a rule-based decision that can have up to 9 rule-based decisions and 1 remainder. Use cases for this are if you have multilingual paths and you don't use, say, dynamic content, but you want a path for each one of those languages. You could do that. You could also create a multi-path decision based on behaviors. So you would like an iterative experience of, I want to send XYZ content to those who have maybe opened, and then I want to send XYZ content to those who have maybe opened and clicked, and you want to distinguish those experiences. You no longer are tied down to the tracks, and you can do that in one experience. What we've done also is, if you see on the right-hand side there, there's an insight panel. We've heard loud and clear that some of the insights and configuration are not as clear as they could be. So when you click on some of the paths, you will see these insight panels fly out, and you can validate your rules. And it's much easier than it was before. And this here is just taking a look at then what that configuration screen looks like. You have the ability to move around on the different paths, and it's very clear in which the order that those rules will execute. You have better visibility to be able to see what your rules are. So we think we've done a lot of enhancements in that area. And another thing with paths is we're really excited to announce that we have percent-based paths. So what that is it's similar to a decision. However, you would drop the percent-based path action from the palette onto the canvas. And what pops up there is a percentage that you can, up to 5 different percentages, route contacts throughout the program. Now, where this is very helpful is, say, if you want to make a light A/B test of, say, 50% of contacts down one path and 50% of contacts down another, because you want to test a different subject line, a different content, different weights between a series of content, you have the flexibility to do that. Additionally, if you wanted to, say, have a control group where you sent 90% one piece of content, and maybe you didn't do anything with the remaining 10% to measure the effectiveness of the program overall. So a lot of flexibility here. I'm really excited that this is kind of our first iteration towards true A/B testing. We've done a lot under the hood to enable that in the future. So those are the 2 really exciting things coming with the new programs experience. Those are the main enhancements for Watson campaign automation through 17.2. So I'm going to turn it over to Ravi to talk about mobile campaign automation.
Thank you so much, Erin. That was fantastic. A lot of great stuff, as you mentioned, coming in for programs. And now let's get into some of the great things that we're doing in the mobile campaign automation space. Let's start with the first one, which is essentially time zone-based targeting. This is a very often asked question from our clients, that they want to make sure that their messages are reaching to the customers at the right time, depending on their time zone. So if they want to send a message at 9 a.m., for example, it means 9 a.m. Eastern for somebody like Michael, who is on the East Coast, and 9 a.m. Pacific for somebody like me and Erin, who are on the West Coast. So that is a key capability that we have built in the solution, where the mobile SDK will now track what is the time zone for the user, and when you go about scheduling your message, you could state that the message needs to go out at a particular time, say 9 a.m., based on user's time zone, and then automatically behind the scenes, the system will make sure that Erin and I get it at 9 Pacific and Michael gets it at 9 Eastern. So that's a cool capability. With the time zone based targeting, you will always see how many users in your database are in which time zone. So that will give you an idea about the distribution of your users, as well as the time at which you should be expecting certain number of push notifications going out. Additionally, in past, you were limited to sending or scheduling the messages based on marketers' time zone, meaning if you have to schedule a message for 9 Pacific, but your settings are actually based on East Coast, or your time zone is East Coast, then you would have to say it needs to go out at 12 Eastern. Now, with this new capability, you will be able to easily choose the time zone for the message for the message itself, rather than having to translate your time zone into your end user's time zone. So again, a simplicity use case, but that should help you with scheduling messages. There are a bunch of advancements to SMS APIs as well. You have new REST APIs to create and manage your SMS text-to-join programs that can be used with the UBX sender feature as well. So as you know, SMS SMS data essentially is provided through UBX for you to tie to not just our aggregator, which is Mgage, but to any other aggregator that you might have. So this API will be available for that feature where you could send SMSs through UBX as well. Other APIs are to get a program status or create an SMS program or update an SMS program attribute or delete an SMS program, and also to get all SMS programs for an org. So all of these should essentially help you with making sure that you have a rich set of APIs to work with your SMS programs that you have you're using for your customers. Location bulk import capabilities. So this is one of the key features. Location-based messaging is one of the key features that we released in our 17.1, 16.4, and 17.1 releases, where you can target messages based on user's location. So if a user is at a particular store and in a geofence, you could reach them right then and there. Now, what that meant in past was that if you had 400 locations, you had to enter all of those locations through our UI. And while that was a great step forward, we understand that you may want to import a lot more than 400 locations. And even for 400 locations, you may want simplicity in the process. So we have designed a bulk import process where you can give through a CSV file all the locations that are of interest to you and import it using one click. And voila, at that point, all these locations are now available to you for creating your campaigns and targeting users at those locations. So again, this is a great usability feature, making sure you can manage your locations a lot more easily. Next one is about mobile frequency management. In past, we had the feature where you could limit the number of push notifications that can be sent out to a user for the entire across all the campaigns. So if you have campaign 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 running, you could still say that I want to limit to 3 messages to a user at any given point in time, and whichever 3 campaigns trigger first, those 3 messages would be used by the customer. What we have done in this enhancement, this particular enhancement in 17.2, is we are also giving you a lever to control how many times a particular campaign's message can reach to a user. So this is campaign level frequency management. So for example, if you have created a campaign which says whenever the user enters my store, I want to send them a welcome message. Well, that's great, but if the user breaches your geofence 2 or 3 times in a day, you don't necessarily want to send the welcome message 2 or 3 times a day to the user. You can easily now limit and say this welcome campaign should be triggered only once per day. And that will essentially make sure that the same message does not get delivered multiple times, even if that is the campaign that gets triggered multiple times before other campaigns. So again, key capability in making sure that your customers are not fatigued with your messaging, and you have all the levers in place to make sure that you provide the optimal experience to your end user. The next capability is around Zebra Impact integration. This allows essentially you to, if you have Zebra beacons in your location, whether it's a store, whether it's an airport, whether it's a hotel, and any other indoor location, if you have Zebra beacons, they can now start sending location events to our system, and you can then create campaigns on top of it. This is one of the first integrations that we have done with a third-party beacon provider on top of the standard iBeacons that we are going to support, that we already support. So this takes us into one of those areas where Zebra as a beacon provider can work seamlessly with our capabilities. For the next slide, I want to hand it over to Michael.
Hey, Ravi, just a quick question before we move on. A few questions are coming in regarding this. Is the time zone support a strictly mobile capability, or is it something that our email customers can also take advantage of?
At this point, it is a strictly mobile capability, but it has been designed such that we can extend to email in future. One of the key challenges why we have not implemented yet is because not for all the email users do you know the time zone, but for mobile users, you know the time zone from the device. So that's why it's limited to mobile only for now, but we're looking at ways to extend it to email.
Great. Thanks so much, Ravi. I'm going to pass it right back to you in just a second. I just wanted to take a minute to talk about this next capability, just to introduce it. One of the great things about our offering as a whole was that we always believed that the ability to engage with customers based on where they are, to not only send the right message, but also at the right place and time, was an essential component for any marketer. We are always looking for ways to not only enhance those capabilities to create more better and personalized experiences for our customers, but to really look for ways that we can improve and apply some of our cognitive capabilities in new and exciting ways. So we're really excited to introduce this next capability here around cognitive location. And Ravi is going to continue to introduce it to you, but we're really excited about this next one. So I just wanted to pause and talk about that real quick. So go ahead, Ravi.
Thanks, Michael. As you said, I mean, this is one of the key things that we are focused on, making sure all your messages are relevant, all your messages are based on as much context as possible about the user. And location is a very important piece of context that the user has. Now, having said that, typically as a marketer, you only know the locations of your own physical spaces, if you will. So if you're a retailer, you know what are the addresses for your stores. If you're an airline, you know the addresses of the airports where you want to target the messages. If you're hotels, you know the addresses for hotels. But all these you don't necessarily know what is the address of the user's home or the work location. But this is a key context for you as a marketer, because different users may be receptive to different kinds of messages at their home and different types of messages at their work location. So a prime example would be that when I'm leaving home in the morning, that may be a perfect time to send me a message about picking up coffee, right? Or when I'm leaving work on a Friday afternoon or Friday evening, that's the best time to send me an offer for picking up beer on the way to home. So those require that we build a system that goes beyond the understanding of locations that you as a marketer know, your stores, your hotels, your airports, but also of users' home and work location, which is going to be separate for each user, right? And so it required us to build a cognitive system that understood users' location patterns, identified what is users' home and work location, and you can now create geofences around home and work locations such that when the user enters that geofence or exits that geofence, you can then trigger a message. And as with every other location capability that we have, location events we have, these events can trigger not just push messages, but also email and SMS notifications. So if you know that the email address for the person who just stepped out of their home is ravi@us.ibm.com, then you can send them an email, or you can reach them through a push notification on the app as well. So while the capturing of location is done through mobile application, and while the triggering of the location event is done through mobile application, you are not limited to messaging just using push, but you can send email and SMS as well. And it allows you to really engage the user at a location where they are very, very likely to engage with you. As you see on this slide, it's very easy to activate this capability. Literally, you check home and you check work on the UI that we have, and voila, you start tracking the user's home and work location and have the ability to reach them. One point I do want to highlight, which comes up, is this done in a privacy-compliant manner? Absolutely. What we are making sure is that users' home and work location actually never, ever leave their devices. So while the user's device would know what is their home and work location, our server would never store that information. So there is no concern that this information can spill out of either of our servers or is stored not in a geography that you may be comfortable with. So we have built it very consciously in a privacy compliant manner, and we really, really hope that you can start using this capability to take your messaging capabilities to a whole new level. With that, I want to hand it back over to Aaron, unless there are questions that Michael or Vivian we want to answer right now.
Hey, yeah, actually, one of the things that I think we do want to make clear is, as you did mention towards the end, the source of data of understanding the location patterns of the end user is obtained through the mobile SDK that is installed in your app. So as Ravi mentioned, while that data or while those patterns can trigger messages across channels, including SMS and email, the mobile capabilities and the SDK does need to be included in an app. So you need an app that is available in the App Store. That customer needs to have that app installed on their mobile device and needs to have opted in to sharing their location in order for those location patterns to be understood. And then from there, you can trigger those messages across all of your other channels as well. Great. So I know that there are a ton of other questions that are coming around mobile. I do want to keep this moving, so Ravi is going to take the answers to these questions in the Q&A window. So he's going to go through those questions and answer the mobile-related questions for you as we continue. So I'm going to pass it back to Aaron Mejia, who is going to share with us some additional capabilities around performance insights.
Okay, great. So Performance Insights is our new reporting capability for Watson Campaign Automation. And I know you've probably wanted to know when you will be getting Performance Insights. We are now in general availability. However, we are doing a controlled rollout. So unlike a lot of these features that will be delivered directly on the day and time when your pod deploys for 17.2, over the course of 17.2, you will be receiving Performance Insights. And so an update that you can look out for is an email letting you know when your specific organization or set of organizations will receive Performance Insights. So what is in this general availability of Performance Insights? We have two core capabilities, and currently for the email channel. Later in Q4, we will have additional push and SMS channels. However, what we have here is workspace and views. What we didn't do is rebuild just a list of reports. What we've created are a set of workspace templates for you, the customer, to alter and enhance the way that you need to make results by campaign meaningful for your business. So we have two workspaces that are included within general availability. One is more high-level overview of the email channel in general, and one more is more campaign-specific. And what is really cool, I believe, about Performance Insights is audience management. So today, you may be sending your newsletter to 5 different core segments that you have within your database. And the reason why you schedule it 5 times is because for reporting purposes, that's the way that you can identify the results based on segment. What you can do within Performance Insights is utilize those core queries or contact lists within Watson Campaign Automation and create those as audiences within Performance Insights. Therefore, Performance Insights will always be listening to the changes within those audiences and be able to display reports within the workspaces and the widgets to be able to see performance based on audience or segment. So those are the two core capabilities. Super excited about it. Look out in your inbox for a schedule of when your organization will be receiving Performance Insights. And to clear up any questions around how do I get provision for it, we are utilizing UBX as the data transfer between Watson Campaign Automation and Performance Insights. But rest assured that we've done all the work on the back end, that we will provision it for you seamlessly. Therefore, you don't have to worry about anything regarding UBX or provisioning for Performance Insights. You will just be able to log in on the day that it gets provisioned for you and access it. So very excited about that. I'm now going to turn it over for an update on real-time personalization.
Great. Thanks so much, Erin, and really exciting stuff around reporting. I know that that is one of the capabilities that excites our customers very much. So I'm glad to see the continued investment that we can share with our customers here. So we're going to talk a little bit about another capability that is of very high interest to our customers, and that's real-time personalization. Now, the great thing about Watson Marketing is that there is a large set of capabilities around campaign automation and personalization in our both hybrid approach as our complete SaaS offering that we offer and that we're talking about here. But there's also a great legacy of on-premise solutions for some additional capabilities around those customers who prefer on-premise or hybrid solutions. One of the things that we've always seen is to extend those personalization capabilities that our hybrid and on-premise customers have been used to around personalization and bring that to our SaaS offering, because that's a really important point of investment that we're looking to make, and we understand that personalizing your campaigns are almost just as important as actually creating them and automating them. So we're going to start talking about those real-time personalization capabilities. So we did announce real-time personalization as an offering earlier. Now we're talking about some additional capabilities that we're going to see, specifically starting with the 17.2 release. So this one's pretty straightforward. You're going to see some increased Rules Advisor availability. So that's that cognitive capability within this offering that will actually make suggestions to you on which rules you can use, and will make recommendations to the marketer and suggest specific rules that they can apply to their campaign based on actual data and models that our cognitive systems are running in the background, so that you can be pretty confident that the rules that you will use within your campaign are going to have real data to support them as you apply them to the campaign and engage with your customers. So you're going to see those Rules Advisor, that Rule Advisor availability become largely expanded. And you're going to see enhancements around timing and frequency that you can make as you build out those rules within real-time personalization. So really adding those additional capabilities around personalizing your campaigns and making sure that they are as relevant and targeted to your customers as possible. Now, later in Q2, you're going to start to see some, because we are a continuous release around real-time personalization, you're going to see some additional capabilities. And we're expecting specifically around content personalization. So it's one thing to be able to personalize the content with, personalize the rules with content that you have uploaded to Campaign Automation, but it's a whole other thing to be able to integrate into a content palette that is available and fully baked into Campaign Automation so that it's designed to work exactly the way that the entire system is designed, and also have some capabilities of its own that are very compelling. the Content Hub, which is a capability within the larger Watson marketing tool. It's an integrated but separate offering that is available to all of our campaign automation customers. So you can take advantage, and when using Content Hub, you have all of the interesting capabilities that exist there, like cognitive tagging. So when you upload a bunch of pieces of content, the cognitive system will actually go through the content and automatically assign tags to those pieces of content so that it can actually produce tags for you. Like if there's a bunch of images of people running, it might break out specific tags around, male, female, woods, desert, right? So it's actually going to determine a content management system that essentially understands the content that is inside of it so that it can make it easier for marketers to organize and use within their campaigns. So you're going to see that integration into real-time personalization later in the quarter. Additionally, another capability around real-time personalization is going to be around using third-party systems and other behavioral tools to personalize on. And this is really important for those customers that have and love tools that they use that are not necessarily part of the IBM stack. We understand that we are not going to be the only player in town, and there are some great capabilities from other providers. And we know that the reality of the marketing ecosystem is that there are many tools that other companies provide and that marketers like to use. And so what we want to do is embrace that and give capabilities that allow our customers to integrate those triggers and those other platforms like Adobe Analytics, Google Analytics, and then our other platforms across IBM like Customer Experience Analytics to personalize your content for all of your users. So you'll be able to use not just third-party tools, but your own internal systems. So things like cart abandonment and web analytics platforms that you might have built in-house, along with the third-party and other IBM tools that we talked about. All right, so that was real-time personalization, and now I'm going to turn it over to Vivian Braun, who's going to take us through an introduction into Watson Marketing Insights, what it is, and an interesting new availability that is going to be ready for campaign automation customers in the very near future. Vivian, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much, Michael. So we have developed a new solution which is all about helping marketers target the right audiences. And by the right audiences, I mean customers that require your attention. Because as we know, typically, campaigns are driven purely by brand or product strategies. But what we sometimes fail to acknowledge is what the customer's behaviors are telling us about their affinity with our brand, and therefore that we maybe ought to get in touch with them. So in March, just a couple of months ago, we launched Watson Marketing Insights, which is a cloud solution. And it analyzes customer data from sources such as Watson Campaign Automation, and it defines segments based on customers' level of engagement with a brand and their predicted move to a more or less engaged segment. So it's extremely customer-focused. It also predicts who is about to leave the brand. So attrition is a big part of the story here. As you can see from the screenshot here on your screen, it surfaces the insights in natural language, and it even helps you understand the key predictors or drivers of the insight. So you don't just see cold results. It helps you learn and understand what is behind what you're seeing, what is behind that performance. Market and customer circumstances change, as you know. What is a meaningful segment one day may not really be meaningful the next day. So the models, all in the cloud, will refresh to always give you a current segment profile as well as segment membership based on what the key drivers are at the moment. Having such prioritized segments, you can launch a campaign, for example, with a retention offer, and get a step ahead of the specific audience before it's too late, before they dropped out. And you can also further explore the data. You can fine-tune the target audiences, for example, by lifetime value, or really any other variable that can help you optimize your campaign investment, for example, around a specific offer. And that's limited only to what data sources you choose to feed into the solution. Any data, you can do extensive filtering until you get the audience that matches a campaign that you can deliver. We'll, of course, be adding some more functionalities and segmentation types to the solution as it matures. To begin with, we have the attrition and engagement lenses, as we call them. So this kind of insight into the key predictors of attrition and moves between the level of engagement, that's, of course, very useful for your strategic decision-making. It helps you know what part of the customer journey you need to pay more attention to. But more importantly, you can also take swift action. You can push your selected audience list straight to Watson Campaign Automation, as you can see on this screen. Or you can push it to UBX, or you can save it for later review, or send it as an attachment to a colleague who needs to look at the list. So various options, but very much focused on working directly with Watson Campaign Automation, which I'm afraid in this slide still carries the old name, which you all know. And we're very excited also to say that next month we are introducing a new version of this product. And this is called Watson Marketing Insights Essentials, and it's designed specifically to support Watson Campaign Automation. It focuses only on the brand engagement component to begin with. And here, the pre-integration between Watson Campaign Automation and Watson Marketing Insight mean that you can ingest data from your marketing solution in one click, as well as pushing your audiences straight to the solution for execution. So we've done the plumbing here, and it's extremely easy for a Watson Campaign Automation user to get started and derive value from your more value from your customer data through this integration. We're going to give you a chance to get your hands on this for free. We are launching end of June, so just a week after the GA of the Essentials version. We're launching a free trial. So for 30 days, you can play around with the capabilities with your own data. There is a limitation to how many customers you can feed into it while you're going through the trial, but it certainly gives you a good opportunity to try out all the functionalities and see how it can give your organization value from this additional insight. So again, the pre-built integration allows you to quickly get up and going, and the product will be full of guides, navigation guides to help you work the tool efficiently. So you're going to hear a lot more about this offer over the course of the summer. So again, the Essentials Edition is launching June 23rd. A week later, we'll have the trial. I'm going to paste a link to the product page if you're interested in reading up on the solution. We obviously already have information on the standard version that launched in March. So if you want to pre-read on it, or you're interested in more information, then I'll guide you to that in the Q&A room. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Michael again for some closing comments.
Great, thank you. And I think one of the questions that is coming up within the chat is one thing we do want to make clear is that we're really excited to launch this trial for all campaign automation customers. And we have designed Watson Marketing Insights to be a really, really important companion to Watson Campaign Automation. It is not something that is built right into Watson Campaign Automation in the sense that I want to make clear that it is not an included capability because it is something that is coming up in the questions. It is something that is available for all campaign automation customers, or will become available once that general availability begins on June 30th. And because we know that campaign automation customers are going to be our #1 users for marketing insights, we do want to make sure that you can play around with it and try it and see if it's something that is valuable to you. And we are offering a 30-day trial for you to test it out. So we're really excited about that. We know it's going to be something that our customers really like and have been asking for. So we're really happy about that too. Okay, so at this point, we're going to move it on to one other item that I want to mention here. Just want to confirm here. I'm going to keep going. Okay, so I think there might have been some audio issues there, but I think everyone can hear me now. So it looks like I'm back. Okay. All right, so we are going to answer some of those questions again in the Q&A section at the end. We're going to highlight some of the big ones that we got in. So last thing I wanted to talk about before we close today is we think that having a built-in vision and direction for our products is an essential part of any offering team. It's something that we work really hard on to map out the future of our capabilities and where we believe the market is going and the capabilities that you as marketers will need. An additional part of the direction that we take our offerings is not just where we think the offering should go, but where you think it should go. And one of the things that you might notice within the campaign automation tool as you use it is you might see a short survey that comes up. And this is something that we are going to take very seriously. We've already made a tremendous effort around how we're going to align our products in the future based on the responses that you give to this survey. So we're very much interested in your feedback. We really want to hear from you. And I can say for certain that we are absolutely aligning our offering based on the feedback that we see along with the directions that we take as an offering team. So we're really excited to make sure that we get a direct line to your feedback as you use the tool, and we're really happy to hear from you, both from the constructive feedback that we can use to improve the product, but also an understanding of knowing what's working for you and what is really exciting about the tool that you like a lot. And those are going to be the various ways that we take the direction of the product itself. All right, so for more information on the release notes and the release information, it is now available in the Knowledge Center. You can search for 17.2. And then we have some support portals that are available for some web-based training courses. One of the things that I do want to leave up, because this was something that did come up, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and start our actually, you know, I do want to cover this real quick before we continue on the Q&A. The following release, this is the release that is expected to take place later in the year. We expect that around September of this year. So the next time you'll hear from us on the release cycle, as you will, around campaign automation, you should expect that around September of this year. So we're going to be really to release some additional capabilities throughout the year. As always, we're constantly iterating and improving our product, so something to expect later down the line. Okay, so right now I'm going to start our Q&A section, and before I do that, one of the questions that has come up, so I'm going to start with the first question here is, can you show that release schedule one more time for 17.2? So yes, that is a very easy one. I'm going to go ahead and display that release schedule here for the various pods and the various dates. And you can see the dates of release. There are 2 dates, May 20th and June 6th. And depending on which pod you are, you will be able to see those changes after the release times that you can see on the right column. And of course, once again, the way that you can tell if what pod you are located on is you can see in the URL, you'll be able to see that login URL, and you'll see login 5, login 2, login 4. That is the number of your pod. So you'll be able to get a good sense of where you are and when you'll see those updates based on that pod number and the release date that you can see here. So feel free to take a screenshot of that, and you can take a look at when that'll be available. And of course, we are going to have this recording available to you shortly, within the next couple of days. So if you missed this section or it was something that you'd want to make sure that you have shared, we are going to make that available in the next couple of days. So feel free to take a look at that one more time, and I'm going to switch back to the Q&A window. Okay, let's take a look at some of these questions coming in here. One of the questions that we are getting, Ravi, and this was a question that a few people asked, and just in case those who didn't hear it, I just want to start with this one question, is can you specifically share which engagement channels are available for the mobile capabilities that you mentioned? So you talked a little bit about the cognitive location and the integration. Are we talking about both SMS and mobile app messaging, or is it just one of those two?
So for cognitive location, the capturing of the location has to be done through the mobile SDK, which is part of our push notification offering. But once the locations are captured, and you can start triggering location events back to our servers, and those location events can then trigger not just push notifications, but also SMS and email. So the subtle distinction is capturing of the locations requires the mobile SDK and mobile capabilities, but post that point, you can send also email and SMS.
Great. Thanks so much, Ravi. And what about for the beacon integrations as well? Is it the same deal where they can be triggered by using the data source around the mobile app, but triggered across channels, or is that something that is currently limited to mobile app messaging?
Sorry, Michael, I didn't get that. Can you please repeat it?
Sure. So is that the same situation for the beacon integrations around the Zebra Impact integration? Is that just for mobile app, or is that across channels?
Correct. So, yes, the answer is similar in that to capture beacon location events, you need mobile application with our SDK in it. But again, when the location events are triggered, you can send email, SMS, or push.
Great. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. So, Aaron, this is a question that's coming in. Can you just confirm the channels that will be available, and maybe this is also for Ravi, the channels that will be available to receive or display data within...
Michael, we're losing your audio. Is the question what channels will be included within Performance Insights?
Yes.
Currently, we have email, and over the next few months, we will add in push and SMS.
Great. Is my audio a little bit better now?
Yes, Michael, it is. I just want to add a little more color to Aaron's answer. For mobile reports, we're basically looking at second half of this year, Q3, Q4 timeframe, and that will include that will be the timeframe when you will have mobile push and potentially SMS reports as well.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, one question that came in, and again, one of the other speakers, let me know if my audio is not working. One of the questions that came in is around real-time personalization. Will that integration or available integration into the third parties and internal systems for personalization become available with 17.2 or a bit later in the quarter? And the answer is the latter. It will become available later in the quarter. We plan on including this capability within around the June timeframe, so keep an eye out for that. And that is something, once again, not just for third parties or your own systems. So it's something that is accessible so that you can use as many triggering points to personalize as possible. So that's a really exciting capability that we plan on introducing in the very near future. Once again, a question that is coming in is will this audio and video be available at a later date? The answer is yes. We will be sending this out within the next couple of days, so please keep an eye out for a message from us, and you'll be able to receive the recording of this as well. Okay. All right, so those are the questions that are coming in. We just want to thank you very much once again for attending the webinar today. I just do want to take another minute to introduce the rest of the speakers who did such a great job, not just presenting today, but a great deal of work around building, deploying, and marketing these capabilities too. So thank you so much, Erin, Ravi, and Vivian, and thank you all for joining. We really look forward to not only releasing these capabilities to you, but once again, listening to your feedback on how you're using these capabilities, and we're really looking forward to seeing that so that we can take our offering continuously forward and really allow marketers to create the experiences that their customers expect. And we're very excited to do that with all of you today. Thank you so much once again for joining, and we look forward to speaking to you in the near future.